Chapter 30, Japanese Feasting. Episode 7, Part 2. The players had just returned back from their painful challenge. After having enough time to refresh themselves in their own rooms, they all met back at the lobby. This time seemed different though from all the other times they had met in a lobby. It was only the three of them. Blooper: the 3 questions game was intriguing. I liked the idea, but some of the questions were just plain embarrassing. Like for example, whom I would rather save with a bottle of anti-venom. I would definitely save both Luigi and Toadette, no doubt. But I had to choose one of the answers, and it ended up being the wrong one. Toadette: I thought the 3 questions game was really stupid. There were a lot of stupid questions we were forced to answer, and some of them did hurt me. But the only way a game can get under your skin is if it's stupid. Luigi: it just so happened to be that we got that last question wrong. I was entirely convinced Toadette would choose me over Blooper on that last question about saving her on a sinking ship. It just doesn't fit why I would try to sabotage like that. I tried with my best answer, but we ended up losing the money. Blooper let me manipulate him, so it's reasonable to blame him.
I don't want to play another game so soon,
Luigi whined.
What makes you think that?
Toadette asked.
Because we're in the lobby.
Blooper laughed.
I have a feeling that Macalio is going to pop out from somewhere,
he told them. They all looked around the hotel floor with smiles on their faces. There was no sign of the host anywhere. Where he was, or what he was planning next, was always unknown.
The final 3,
said Blooper.
One of us will be a very rich person. One of us is the mole. Before we say anything else,
Luigi piped up,
can we all say something together? That we'll forgive the mole? Forgive the mole afterwards for all the trouble and deceit they had caused in this game.
Nobody said anything for a second.
I'll definitely forgive the mole,
agreed Blooper.
It's all okay. The mole hasn't harmed anybody.
Yeah, Toadette said.
What is there to forgive the mole for? It's the mole's job, to show no mercy. This is all a huge game anyway.
Okay, said Luigi.
I agree with the 2 of you. But I still feel that one of us here is being played right now, possibly 2,
Toadette said.
It's too late now, because we've already trusted people.
Toadette: I was referring to the coalition between Blooper and Luigi. It's not a coalition, because I know that one of them is the mole, and I know that that person will stab the other in the back when it gets to the end. And that's what scares me the most. Luigi: Blooper, in my mind, is not the mole. He can't be. He gave me so much knowledge for this game. He's been the one telling me all his theories, all his guesses, and his entire plan for this game.
I felt that same way for Daisy,
Luigi said guiltily.
At times, I thought that she could have been the mole. Guess I was wrong. Trust is definitely an issue,
Blooper said in a low voice. Blooper: I know who the mole is. I've been so sure in the past, but I've never been 100% sure. I have many mixed feelings for Toadette, but also a lot of mixed feelings for Luigi too. The next game was going to become their last. All 3 players were brought to the edge of a magnificent pond, or lake, depending on what people wanted to call it. Behind the lake was the town's biggest mall. Blooper stared at the water. Toadette looked at the parking lot. Luigi stood in front of the host.
Hello players,
Macaliboo.
Welcome to your last game. I know this came a bit sooner than you thought it would, but, well, this really is the last episode.
The players were almost stunned to hear what the host had just announced to them. Blooper, we arrive at a huge lake, and Macaliboo says to us, welcome to your last game. And he convinced me that he was telling the truth. Toadette, to know that we were going to play our last game, brought so much relief to me. It meant that we were going home after this. Luigi, my mind had a million thoughts racing through it. I didn't even know whether to believe Macaliboo or not.
Your mission is to reach me, 60 miles from here,
Macaliboo interrupted them.
You will begin with 1 hour to do so. It just so happens that the speed limit in this part of the world is no more than 60 miles per hour. If you reach me in time, you win 50,000 coins. Not only is this the largest you've ever played for, but this finally completes the pot maximum of 500,000 coins. Right now, you only have 190,000 coins. Not bad, but it's not even at the half mark, which I must admit, is quite a failure. We tried our best,
Luigi said sheepishly.
This will be called the journey of completion,
Macaliboo told them.
You'll be instructed to stop at places along the way and play miniature challenges. Some involve all of you, and some are restricted to only one person. For every one you succeed, you get time added to your clock. If you fail one, time is subtracted from your clock. If you want, you can even skip the challenge, but skipping the challenges alone won't help you to reach me in time.
The players nodded.
Nobody will be allowed to have a timer of any sort, except for me,
Macaliboo continued.
So play wisely and efficiently. Do not break any rules. Keep everything under control and reach me in time. Remember, this is your last game for money.
He handed them an envelope, then headed off to the van behind him. None of the 3 players bothered to open the envelope that had been handed to them, but instead watched the host enter the van, close the door, and be driven off without looking back at the other 3.
I guess that's it,
said Blooper.
He left us. Let's go,
Luigi said in realization.
The game has begun already. Hurry, open the envelope.
Toadette opened the envelope and read its contents.
Here, it says, to begin your game, you must first find your car.
She pointed at the parking lot at the other side of the pond. Among the 265 cars, only one of them was theirs to use for their challenge.
Over there,
said Toadette.
Our car is probably in that parking lot somewhere. Wait, what's that at the bottom of the paper?
Luigi noticed.
I see a little message. Find its location by finding the secret bottle.
They all looked at the bottom of the paper, where another message was written out. Getting wet, 5-minute penalization.
Then I'm guessing it's in the pond,
Luigi said.
Somewhere. As long as we don't get wet, we won't get penalized. A message in a bottle,
Blooper said with amusement.
Makes sense, so let's look for it. Toadette, go to the parking lot over there and try to look for the car we need. How should I know which one is ours?
She asked.
There's over 100 cars in that parking lot. It'll be impossible to find it in time. Anything,
Blooper told her.
The color, the license plate. Any clue that'll point to a certain car?
Toadette ran ahead to the parking lot, and Blooper and Luigi looked out at the water in front of them.
Let's split,
suggested Blooper, and they both ran opposite directions around the pond. In search of the bottle, the two players strained their eyes to look for any sign of floating debris.
I found it!
Luigi called out a minute later. As he bent over to reach for the bottle, Blooper ran towards to where Luigi was.
You got it?
Blooper asked him. Luigi got onto his knees and reached even more. No matter how hard he tried, his reach was limited by the length of his arm.
Almost,
Luigi said, getting up onto one foot. Suddenly, he fell forwards. With a yell, he splashed into the water, head first, and then resurfaced in shock. Blooper moaned with disbelief.
Mamma mia!
Luigi sputtered, picking up his soaked hat and putting it onto the dry edge of the pond. Blooper pointed wide-eyed at the bottle.
Get it before it floats away,
he said.
It's useless now. We got the penalty already, so might as well get it.
Luigi grabbed the floating bottle and swam over to Blooper, handing the object over to him. Blooper helped him out.
Are you okay?
Blooper asked him with a grin. Luigi shook his head and twisted a large amount of water out of his hat. Luigi, I was just so concentrated on getting that bottle that I forgot what position I was in. Before I knew what was happening, I had already tipped myself into the pond. Blooper, Luigi fell into the water. Incredible. I wasn't sure whether it was stupidity, or something else.
Just open the bottle,
Luigi muttered, jumping up and down to remove all the remaining water in his clothes.
I knew I shouldn't have leaned over like that.
Blooper removed the cork and let the contents spill out onto his tentacle, a set of keys. Immediately, the two of them ran over to the parking lot. Because Luigi had gotten wet while retrieving the bottle, the team was penalized 5 minutes. Now, only 51 minutes remained.
Toadette,
Blooper called out, getting her attention. She was trying to look inside a green-colored van.
Did you get the bottle?
She asked. Luigi came into view, still drenched.
Wow, what happened to you?
She said.
Did you fall into the pond? Are you hurt? Don't get all worried,
Blooper said.
Luigi can dry up on the way to our next location. Right now, we have the keys. But how will we find it?
Luigi mumbled out loud. Blooper held the keys up in the air and pressed the panic button. From 30 yards away, an irritating beeping sound began. All three players walked together through the crowd of parked cars and found the source of vexation, a mint green-colored car with a license plate that read MLELOM.
I was thinking it would be a green car,
said Toadette with a smile.
Yeah, at least we don't have to walk anymore,
Blooper said.
Let's get moving. Who's driving? I'm not driving. I will not drive due to the fear that I might not be able to pay attention to anything on the road,
Luigi announced.
And I am wet. I just got my license 2 weeks before the show started,
said Toadette.
But I'm not the best driver alive. Look, Luigi is soaked,
Blooper pointed out.
Toadette, you're in perfect health. Nothing's wrong with you. So drive our car.
Toadette rolled her eyes and entered through the driver's side. Toadette, I hated the way Blooper began to rule over me, forcing me to do everything that he said. But you know, when you're getting stressed out from being the mole you tend to get aggravated over little things.
Well, I did make my first appearance in Mario Kart, Double Dash,
said Toadette, starting the car.
I shouldn't have leaned over like that,
complained Luigi. He let out a sigh, and then shifted over to the seat next to him. Blooper leaned forwards to pick up a brochure from the passenger seat and studied it carefully.
Where should we go?
Toadette asked. Blooper turned the brochure over to look at the back, the Tokii restaurant.
This is definitely a clue,
Blooper said.
I'm sure that this is our next location.
He looked at the other side of the brochure. Located in the Coconut Mall.
Okay, everyone out of the car. We're not driving after all.
Luigi groaned and got out of the car. Toadette and Blooper laughed as they got out of the car too. With time wasted and time to recover, all three players ran towards the mall in a hurry. They arrived at the Japanese restaurant. Nobody was dining, except for Roberto, who smiled at them as they approached the table she was sitting at. She was the restaurant's manager.
Welcome,
she said. As she bowed, they bowed back at her.
This will be your first mini-challenge for your journey of completion. In a moment, the conveyor belt will be moving.
The players turned around to look at the conveyor belt that traveled its way around the restaurant. There was nothing upon it, yet.
Plates with covers will begin to come out. Count carefully, only the plates of prime numbers will have photographs. You will need these photographs for your next task. If you lift a wrong cover, there will be sushi. The sushi must be finished before you can lift another plate. I love sushi!
Luigi exclaimed.
What do the photographs show?
Toadette asked.
I can only tell you once the first photograph is found,
she replied.
Remember, prime numbers is what will make you find them. So, I will be starting the conveyor belt now. Good luck!
She got up, handed them all chopsticks, and left behind the curtain folds in the back of the restaurant. Suddenly, a gentle buzzing sound filled the air as the belt began to move. The first plate came out.
Prime numbers,
said Blooper.
Lift the cover. Are you sure that the number 1 is prime?
Luigi told him.
I thought the first prime number was 5.
Plate after plate began to appear, though they all had a different design from the first plate which had appeared.
The definition of a prime number is a number which has only 2 factors,
remembered Toadette.
1 in itself. I'm voting for us to lift it,
said Blooper.
I'm sure it's prime, well, I'm almost sure.
Toadette lifted the cover of the first plate, 2 rolls of sushi.
Arg,
said Luigi. Toadette put one of the rolls into her mouth. Luigi took the other one and stuffed it into his mouth too. He coughed it back up.
What's wrong with you?
Blooper said.
You don't like it? I hate this kind of sushi!
Luigi exclaimed.
I can't eat it. You eat it. Are you kidding me? You just stuck the whole thing into your mouth. Soy sauce.
Blooper grabbed a saucer and went over to the nearest table to fill it with soy sauce. Soaked with the black sauce, Luigi successfully swallowed his sushi piece.
I got one,
Toadette said, picking it up from the other side of the room. Blooper and Luigi ran over to where she was. The conveyor belt was moving too fast for their pace, and was already reaching its first rotation.
What does it show? It's a cliff,
she said, looking at it with confusion. She turned it over. look familiar? Put this into 2 piles, the wins and the losses.
The Cliff Springs game,
she said with realization. She lifted the 3rd plate and saw another photograph, showing a bag with a green thumbprint on it.
We need someone to put these into the correct piles,
said Blooper.
I'll do that job. Luigi and Toadette, find the photographs and put them on this table.
The both of them nodded and headed back to the belt. Blooper sat down and examined the pictures.
Number 5 is prime,
said Toadette, lifting the 5th plate. She handed a photograph of an egg in a limousine over to Blooper. Luigi lifted the cover of the 7th plate, then the 9th. The 1st plate, he revealed, had a picture of a dining table. The 2nd, however, had a piece of sushi.
No, not again,
Luigi said.
9 has a factor of 3. I must have forgotten about that.
He dipped the sushi in soy sauce and ate it, chewing it slowly and closing his eyes. Toadette watched him with amusement. Toadette, watching Luigi eat sushi was funny. Especially when in the beginning of the challenge, he even stated himself,
I love sushi. 11 is prime,
Luigi said. He lifted the cover to find a photograph of a store, and then gave it over to Blooper's table.
We lost the Cliff Springs challenge,
Blooper said, sorting the photographs into 2 piles.
We lost the baggage challenge. We won the egg transfer game, we lost the acquired/accustomed game, we had lost the clue challenge.
Luigi dropped a picture displaying a mail package next to Blooper, plus a photo that showed Luigi at the edge of a cliff.
We lost both the late delivery game and the hostage rescue. How coincidental.
He then received a picture of a jail cell, which he put into the winning pile.
23,
said Toadette. She lifted the cover and discovered sushi.
That's strange. I thought 23 was a prime number. It is,
said Luigi.
You must have lost track of the count.
Toadette ate the small piece of salmon roe sushi and looked around.
Then how are we supposed to know which plate we started with?
Toadette asked.
The entire belt is full. Some of these plates were empty to begin with. Wait,
remember Luigi? He went down the conveyor belt until he spotted the plate with the bamboo design.
This one. Let's start counting prime numbers from here.
Both of them went down the line carefully, and then after confirming the correct prime numbers with each other, they lifted the next 4 correct covers, plate 23, plate 29, plate 31, and plate 37. Revealed were photos of an outdoor marketplace, a die, a train, and a large bell, all of which were given to Blooper.
We lost the sell and laugh challenge. Or maybe we had won that after all.
Blooper looked at the photo. Blooper, some of the games we had done were half wins. I couldn't judge it on that, so I was assuming that we had lost those challenges.
We won the craps challenge.
He looked over at Toadette's dyed pigtails.
We won the train game, and we lost the Bell of Endurance challenge. Come on guys, keep going. We need all the pictures of our challenges to pass.
Luigi lifted plate 39.
No, that's a multiple of 13,
Luigi said in a voice of regret. He grabbed one piece of the salmon sushi and swallowed it.
How much sushi are we going to end up eating?
Toadette wondered, eating the other piece. They continued on and lifted the next correct plate, 41. Then they lifted plates 43 and 47, all of which were prime. Blooper received pictures showing a sewer cave, a washing machine, and a work of abstract art in a museum.
We lost, or won?
Blooper looked confused.
I think we lost the relatives challenge. We lost the laundry race challenge. And we lost the exhibit challenge.
He placed them into their piles.
I lost count,
said Toadette. The conveyor belt was moving faster.
Did you? I did too,
said Luigi.
But the next prime numbers are 53, 59, and 61.
Both players went all the way back to the beginning of the plate chain and counted their way up. Meanwhile, Blooper decided to change his opinion about the games they had half won on. He took them out of the lose pile and transferred them over to the win pile.
Plate 53,
said Toadette, lifting the cover and grabbing the photo.
Plate 59. And plate 61.
Luigi said, grabbing the last photograph.
We got them all. Okie dokie, let's go.
Dropping them off at Blooper's table, they all looked on. The 3 remaining photographs displayed a Mecha Koopa, a dim-lit parlor, and a lie detector.
We won the Koopa spelling challenge,
Blooper said.
We lost Micaliboo's funhouse. And we won the flawed lie detector game.
He straightened out each pile evenly and stood up.
Hurry, let's go now. Wait, we should all double-check the piles,
Toadette said. Blooper sat back down, as both Toadette and Luigi looked over the photographs of their previous games.
Did we win or lose the baggage challenge?
Luigi asked.
We only gained 5,000 coins in that game out of 20,000. That's what I've been wondering about,
said Blooper. He went through the pictures of the win pile.
Yup, all those were correct,
Toadette confirmed. Blooper flipped slowly through the lose pile. He stopped at the picture of the washing machine.
Wait, we didn't lose the laundry race game,
Luigi realized.
We won that challenge. Remember? Are you sure?
Blooper asked her.
I remember us losing that challenge, specifically. We did win the laundry race game,
said Toadette.
I remember Peach being with us, because she was the heroine of the game.
Luigi, I would have easily made the same mistake that Blooper had done. The laundry race challenge was a tough game. I thrived in it, so that was the only reason I knew we had succeeded in it.
Yeah, the rules were screwed up, so that must have confused me.
Blooper moved the photo over to the other pile. After checking and going through each pile for a second time, the 3 players went over to bring their photographs to the Birdo. The Birdo looked at each pile carefully, and then smiled.
Good job,
she said.
You have added 15 minutes to your timer.
The players high-fived each other with success. Time remaining, 58 minutes.
That's less than what we had started with,
realized Toadette.
Yeah, but remember, we did waste a lot of time looking for the keys to the car,
Blooper said.
I want to eat more,
Luigi moaned.
I'm hungry.
He looked at the sushi circling around the conveyor belt. Blooper pulled him away as the 3 of them left the restaurant. Outside, they searched in vain for their car.
Where was it?
Blooper asked them.
I can't see it anywhere. It was that way,
said Luigi, pointing towards the left of the mall.
I'm almost certain that we had come from there.
They walked towards the left side of the parking lot and found no sign of their car. In fact, they barely saw any cars on the left side of the mall.
I don't think it's here,
said Toadette.
We entered the mall from the right side.
The 3 of them walked through the parking lot, searching for the familiar green car they had just been in minutes ago.
The license plate,
Luigi said.
I don't remember it. But it was an odd one. I think somebody took our car,
said Blooper.
Where are the keys?
Toadette said suddenly. Blooper looked at Luigi.
How should I know?
Said Luigi.
Toadette was sitting in the driver's seat. She should know. Yeah, but I never took the keys,
she said.
We never drove. One of you guys had it.
Luigi looked uncomfortable. Blooper looked annoyed.
Everyone check your pockets,
Blooper said. They all did, searching in every place of their clothing where they could have possibly placed them. There was no sound of metal clanking coming from anywhere.
Blooper, you pressed the panic button,
Toadette remembered.
You must have had it last. Then I could have sworn I gave it to someone else,
said Blooper.
But the only thing I'm sure of right now is that none of us has the keys. Did you lose the keys? How are we supposed to get into the car? Is our car really stolen or are we just being stupid?
No, Blooper, Toadette, and Luigi were just having a lost moment, not being stupid. If they were stupid, none of them would have even made it to the final round of the game. And their car is in fact still in the parking lot. The keys? Well, they are in the car. Watch out for hidden clues. Huge ones will appear in this final episode. The first 2 episodes of The Mole US Season 5 were awesome. YouTube has it, thanks to a good Samaritan. The only thing I dislike is that the original music is gone. However, the intro music is amazing. Also, so far, all the challenges have been physical, so hopefully that would change in episode 3. And also, guessing the mole is hard. The people whom I thought were the mole got executed first and second, and now I'm ranging between 3 suspects. Overall, it's great to have the mole back and airing, all new and refreshed. Please review. And also about the new season if you had seen it. Don't miss the new episode this Monday night, at 10 p.m, on ABC. End of chapter. Chapter 31, Smelling Sabotage. Holy crap! I just watched the 4th episode of the US Mole, and after seeing the journal burning, I just remembered that I had forgotten to include journals in this game. Darn, maybe next season? Anyway, enjoy part 3. Episode 7, Part 3. After 7 inappropriate minutes of searching for their car, Toadette spotted the familiar mint green color in the mixture of vehicles.
Hey, it's here!
She called out. Blooper ran over to the car, shaking his head. Luigi was already out of breath.
Yup, that's our car,
Luigi said, looking at the clue indicating license plate.
It wasn't stolen after all.
Blooper, my worst fear had come true. As I look into the window of the car I spot the keys, in the back seat. Someone was responsible.
And the keys are right there,
said Blooper, looking into the windshield glass.
I see them.
Blooper looked at Luigi, sighed, and then sat on the ground.
I didn't put them there.
Luigi protested.
You did. You pressing the panic button in the beginning was enough proof to prove you had it last. Ha!
Blooper picked at the concrete floor.
Well, it's locked,
Luigi said.
I don't see how we can get inside now. Should we just quit?
Toadette shook her head.
No, we shouldn't just quit,
Toadette told them.
The game is still going. We have a chance of winning these 50,000 coins before 60 minutes. All we have to do is think and be smart like we've always done before. Let's all think of a smart way of getting into the car.
Blooper suddenly stood up.
The skipping stones around the pond,
he said.
I tossed some across the water, and if they can skip, then that means they're able to break glass. I'll be back. Yeah, that makes sense,
said Luigi, as Blooper ran to the pond. He returned with a few stones in his tentacle.
You're going to break the glass,
Toadette said with disbelief.
Are you crazy? What else can we do?
Said Blooper. He drew back and aimed for his shot. Luigi backed away as Blooper threw the first stone at the passenger seat window, which did nothing but bounce off the glass.
It didn't work,
Luigi said, who was both relieved but disappointed at the same time. As Blooper threw the second stone at the window, it shattered. Toadette screamed, and Blooper ducked away as glass flew in the air. He looked at the broken window.
Yes!
Shouted Blooper with triumph. He reached in and unlocked the door.
Why did you do that?
Toadette asked.
There's glass everywhere. We'll get cut. I don't care,
said Blooper.
Let's go. And if it even makes you happier, I'll be the one to drive this time.
Blooper went around to the other side of the car and got into the driver's seat, while Luigi and Toadette got into the back of the car, avoiding any shards that might have landed on any of their seats.
Careful, Luigi,
said Toadette, hastily pushing Luigi away from the piece of glass between them. She threw it out the window. Toadette, I was hoping that one of the other two would be smart and find a way into the car. Blooper did find a way into the car. But there wasn't anything smart about the way he did it.
I told you to find a smart way into getting into the car,
Toadette said, as the players drove off to the local bookstore.
Shattering the window just to unlock the door of the car isn't smart, Blooper. It was pretty smart in my opinion,
objected Luigi.
Where did the birdo tell us to go again?
Blooper asked Luigi, stopping at the intersection in the road.
The bookstore, right? Righto mundo,
said Luigi. Blooper turned left.
No.
Luigi said quickly.
Righto mundo as in right. Go right. Do you even have a map?
Blooper asked with wonder. He backed up and went down the other road. Toadette took Luigi's map and looked at it.
There's a bookstore a mile down, she said. It's called the Robinson Crusoe bookstore. I think that's where we go next.
"38 minutes remaining." The players got to their first location via vehicle. All of them got out of their car, avoiding the door with the shattered window, and looked up at the title of the bookstore they were at. Toadette, I loved the book Robinson Crusoe. I love books. We never had any television when I was young, so we either read books or died from boredom. Luigi, the image of a bookstore brought back many horrible memories to me from the Board the Train challenge. That was when I abandoned Birdo during the game and made myself look utterly useless. They entered the store and found a Koopa Troopa, who was wearing a pair of thick bifocals and reading a book. He looked up at them.
Hey, you must be the mole players,
he said.
I'm the owner of this store, Gary. Welcome to your next mini-challenge.
The players nodded.
This next challenge is all about one person and a famous romantic tragedy,
he explained.
So I need the three of you to choose the person who best knows the play Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. I have never, ever read that book in my life,
Luigi said.
Not me. I read Romeo and Juliet,
said Toadette.
We were forced to in school, but I guess that counts. I've read that book also,
said Blooper.
It's about two people falling in love and committing suicide at the end. Really?
Asked Luigi.
You read Romeo and Juliet?
Blooper shook his head. Unanimously, the three of them chose Toadette to do their next game. Gary took out a pile of cards, all displaying words on them.
This is your task,
he said to Toadette.
Each of these cards has a word on them. You only need 7 of them. Your job is to find the correct 7 words and put them in the correct order and in result, spell out one of the most famous quotes spoken by Juliet in Romeo and Juliet. You get 2 tries. After your first, I'll tell you how many of the 7 words you got correct in the correct spot. Then you get your second try. If it's still wrong, you get nothing. If it reads the infamous line, you will receive 15 minutes for your timer. Good luck.
He gave Toadette the cards, and all 3 of them went over to the nearest table.
Oh, and one more thing,
he said.
For the man in green and the squid. You cannot utter a single word to Toadette. However, you may feel free to wander the library and take out any books you feel are necessary.
They nodded and faced Toadette, who had already laid down the cards on the table. On the bottom of each card read a tiny phrase, Act 2, Scene 2, line 33. Toadette looked at the words before her on the table carefully. At fought that federal death, it art wherefore pass o enemy, thou Montague Romeo Juliet Romeo Toadette Blooper Luigi Romeo, is Micalibu Paris Mole Reveal Verona. The second pile had the following words. Execution order Birdo Daisy Dupless Lackey to Peach Rock Hawk Race Try New Smooth Open Initially.
That's 40 words,
said Toadette with a sigh. She got rid of all the cards that had their names on it, leaving 30 words remaining. Luigi laughed.
Give her as much concentration as you can,
Blooper whispered to him.
Let's see her mess up.
She looked at the words again.
I think I know the line.
She removed the 3 Romeo cards and put them in their own row. She then grabbed the card with the word wherefore.
Wherefore thou, Romeo,
she said in her head. She grabbed the thou card.
Wherefore thou, Romeo,
she repeated again.
Wherefore? Romeo, Romeo, wherefore thou, Romeo?
She had her first 5 words in order, Romeo Romeo wherefore thou Romeo. Luigi held up 2 fingers.
I know,
said Toadette.
I need 2 more words.
She thought carefully, and then picked up the cards O and Montague. Blooper, I had no idea what Toadette was doing. Whether she was close or completely lost, I couldn't judge. Luigi, Act 2, Scene 2, line 33. Was that a clue? 2233? A phone number? Montague Romeo, Romeo. Wherefore O thou Romeo?
I think I'm done,
Toadette said.
This is my first guess.
Gary came to her and leaned over her shoulder to look at the phrase she had written.
Montague Romeo, Romeo,
said Gary in an overdramatic voice.
Wherefore, O thou Romeo?
Toadette looked happy.
Incorrect. One word is correct, but in the wrong place. Another word, I'm afraid, is completely wrong. 5 are correct. Think hard. You only have one more try.
Toadette sighed and removed both Montague and O.
One of these is wrong,
she said. She got rid of the Montague card and placed the O back where it had been. Romeo, Romeo, wherefore, O thou Romeo? She looked at the pile of remaining words. Thinking carefully, she picked the word each, then placed it in between wherefore and O. Romeo, Romeo. Wherefore, O each thou Romeo?
No, that would put everything out of order,
she realized. She took out the word each and put it in between the 2 Romeo cards. Each Romeo, Romeo. Wherefore, O thou Romeo? She read the line over and over again, then decided to remove the word each. In its place, she transferred the O. O Romeo, Romeo, wherefore thou Romeo?
I'm still missing one,
she said. She looked at the pile of remaining words, fitting each one into her line mentally. Toadette smiled as she saw the key word that she knew was necessary to complete the sentence. Art. Placing it into her sentence, she stood up and looked at her 7 cards for the final time. O Romeo, Romeo. Wherefore art thou Romeo?
I'm finished,
she told Gary.
This is my final answer.
The bookstore owner walked over to look at the quote she had made.
O Romeo,
he said, in the same tone he had used last time.
Romeo. Wherefore art thou Romeo?
He scratched his chin.
Sounds right to me. Congrats, you won.
Blooper and Luigi cheered.
Awesome,
said Luigi, giving Toadette a hug.
We had no idea what you were doing. Truthfully, we were afraid that you had no idea what you were doing yourself.
Toadette laughed.
Well, I guess taking AP English in high school does pay off, she said, shrugging. Well done,
said the bookstore owner.
There was something, however, that would have made this challenge go a little faster. I think you all had noticed the phrase line 33, Act 2, Scene 2 on each of Toadette's cards. I told the other 2 that they could not speak to Toadette. I did, however, tell the 2 of you that you were allowed to wander the library and take out any books that were necessary. If you guys had found the book Romeo and Juliet, you could have easily showed it to Toadette, flipped to line 33 in Scene 2 of Act 2, and exposed the needed phrase.
Luigi, I knew that line 33, Act 2, Scene 2 was important. It was a clue. Blooper, I feel incredibly awkward for not thinking about that. Gary did tell us in the beginning that we could take out any book that we wanted to. Never would I have thought up the idea of finding the Romeo and Juliet book. Toadette, during the time I was doing the challenge, Blooper and Luigi just sat there doing nothing. If I were one of them, I would have at least tried searching for Romeo and Juliet and speed the game up.
But it was not needed, because thanks to Toadette's knowledge in literature, you still won,
Gary concluded.
Take this.
He gave them a video camera.
Awesome,
said Blooper. The 3 of them exited the bookstore and went to their car. "44 minutes remaining.
I know how to turn this on,
Blooper told them.
I work in the video medium.
He opened the side compartment to reveal a screen. Turning the camera on, a recording of McAliboo was revealed.
"Greetings," he said.
His voice echoed in the background. Blooper took notice of white, fibery food he was eating.
"You've just started your final game, so you're nowhere near the end. But the good news is, you'll be heading off to one of my favorite inns in the entire world."
He held up a candle.
"What is he eating?"
Blooper asked.
"Why would that matter?"
Luigi said to him.
"Your next location will be at the Candlelight Inn. As you might have guessed, the place also sells candles. Your challenge is to pick out my favorite scented candle out of the mix. You guess correctly, you add 15 minutes. Hurry, though. You don't have much time."
The recording ended. Blooper: I learned from the Romeo and Juliet game that clues to succeeding the challenges would be everywhere. Seeing McAliboo eating the white food made me as confused as ever. I was certain that it had to be a clue. I just couldn't figure out where it would fit in.
"We have to make sure we're going the right way," said Toadette. "We should be going that way."
She looked at the map and pointed left.
"That's going south," said Blooper. "Let me see the map."
He studied it carefully, turning it at all angles.
"We're going straight,"
he concluded. They headed forward in the correct direction. They drove for 20 minutes. Anxious that time was going against them, they reassured themselves with the fact of knowing that the game was winnable. Blooper concentrated hard on the road. Luigi kicked at the leftover glass on the floor of the car. Toadette was looking out the window.
"I've never really traveled before,"
Toadette told them.
"This game has been amazing to me. We've traveled to so many places." I guess we did travel to lots of places,"
Luigi realized.
"First, the exciting helicopter ride to Cliff Springs. Then Noki Village. And then Rogueport. But ever since the beginning of the 5th episode, we've been stuck in this Bob-omb region." "Well, I don't mind,"
Toadette said.
"It's still wonderful." "That's because you travel everywhere, Luigi,"
said Blooper, passing by a building which sold candles.
"You're been spoiled. And you never have to pay for airfare. That's just ridiculous." "Wait!"
Toadette called out.
"I just saw the Candlelight Inn."
Luigi darted his eyes to the back window of the car.
"Hey! Where?"
Blooper stopped the car and looked back. Right behind them, in the midst of the buildings on the side of the street, was the inn. They turned into the entrance of a parking lot, got out of their car, and walked over to the lodge. Upon entering, they were greeted.
"Welcome,"
said a young girl, her appearance easily showing that she had come from the town of Flipside.
"Welcome to all mole players. We'd like to see your candle shop,"
Blooper said immediately. She curtsied and brought them downstairs to the cellar.
"We've kept some of these since the day we opened this inn,"
she told them, bringing them to the end of the long room. The aroma was intense.
"And how long ago was that?"
Luigi asked.
1908.
Luigi looked appalled.
"We need to pick out one of these candles,"
Blooper explained.
"The host told us in a video recording that our mission was to find his favorite scented candle." "Good luck,"
said the innkeeper.
"Bring the candle upstairs once you're done selecting."
She walked up the cellar stairs and left them.
"Wow, there's like a million candles down here,"
Toadette said.
"They all have these labels on them. Look! Kiwi nectar."
She picked up one of the candles on the shelf, and bringing it up to her nose, inhaled deeply. She gagged and put it back.
Ugh, I was expecting it to actually smell good,
she said in a disgusted tone. Luigi and Blooper searched the shelves.
Turnip, orange, avocado,
Luigi read, searching through the first row of candles.
durian,
Egg. Daringly, he sniffed the egg candle, and then coughed.
Mamma mia!
He sputtered.
I can't believe they decided to make an egg-flavored candle.
He looked at the remaining candle scents on the top row: tomato, tulip, and evening glimmer.
Look, I found mushroom,
said Blooper.
Toadette should like this. Surprisingly, I found seafood,
Toadette said with a strange smile.
I don't see how this is possible,
Luigi said in an exasperated voice.
I hate smelling candles. There are at least 100 different flavors here. We need the correct one. Then we need a clue,
Blooper thought out loud. He turned around and picked up the kiwi nectar candle.
This is green, right?
Said Blooper.
Green is the main color. The color of the mole, exemptions, the thumbprints, everything. Green is probably Macalibu's favorite color, and is probably the color of his favorite candle. That's the answer.
Toadette, Blooper's sudden obsession with all of these clues, maybe it's his cover-up of being the mole. Or maybe Blooper's just being cute and ambitious. Who knows?
Yeah, but 1/7 of these candles are green,
Toadette pointed out.
Why don't we just take it the easy way, not waste time, and smell for the best?
Luigi suggested.
We don't have much time. Maybe the clue is that every single one of these candles has a horrible odor, except for one of them. Maybe that's how we'll find the correct one. You really think so?
Said Blooper in a voice of doubt.
Hey, these have more complex names,
Toadette said, looking at the candles on the bottom row.
Emerald lumber, beach ink, sea island cotton. Oh, ancient amber. This smells nice.
She lifted it up for the others to smell.
Wow, incredible,
said Luigi.
Daisy would love that scent. Better than any other candle here,
Blooper admitted.
But I'm not just suddenly going to guess on this one. Let's all start smelling the ones on the bottom.
They all got onto the ground and smelled at each candle flavor, sniffing like security dogs, yet not as successfully. Luigi, I was looking through the candles, and one of them caught my eye. I was so baffled at why I had such a strong feeling towards it. Then I remembered a name from the previous episode.
I remember seeing Macalibu's first name at the funhouse,
Luigi said, his eyes getting wide. Before him was a candle with the label Mason.
His name?
Blooper asked.
How do you know his name? It was Mason Cole's Halibo,
Toadette said, going over to where Luigi was and picking up the candle.
Well, this candle does say Mason on it. Just because his name is Mason doesn't mean Mason will be his favorite candle scent,
said Blooper.
I'm going with the amber. Are you kidding?
Said Toadette.
I've never heard of a scent named Mason before. This is probably a fake candle, set up for this game. Crazy, but possible,
Luigi said, nodding.
As soon as I saw this candle, I was sure it was our answer. I'm 100% sure this candle is correct. Fine, I agree,
said Blooper.
If you guys agree, then I'll agree too. Let me smell it first.
He took the candle and sniffed it.
Not as bad as kiwi nectar,
he said. The three of them went upstairs to submit their candle. I'm beginning to feel as if the new season FO the Mole hates me. All my favorite players are being executed. Where's Bobby? Liz? There's a clue in this chapter. Don't spoil it in your review though. I can't wait to reveal all the hidden clues at the finale of this show. If you've been reading this story up to now, you'll probably be a little shocked at how cryptic and open the clues are. Not to mention the 1 or 2 red herrings I've placed throughout. Stay tuned. Enjoy this random talking of the players in their spare time. Blooper, there's only 3 people left. It's hard to believe. Toadette, we've known that already since Lakitu left us. Luigi, I feel bad for keeping that exemption away from Lakitu. Toadette, not just you, Luigi. We all did. Blooper, I would have rather have seen Lakitu be executed than me. Luigi, that's rough. Blooper, I'm just saying the truth. Luigi, to be honest, I think I might have tied with Lakitu on the quiz. It's good that I take the quizzes really fast. Blooper, didn't somebody tie with Birdo? Toadette, that was probably me. And by the way, I still can't believe you wouldn't save me from a snake bite. Blooper, I honestly answered Luigi because I thought you would be capable of healing yourself. Toadette, that makes no sense. Luigi, how long is this commercial break? Blooper, this isn't a commercial break. Luigi, then what is this? Why are we wasting time here when we can be finishing up our challenge before we run out of time? Blooper, you guys are too gullible. End of chapter.